D, wait for it, delightful.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
What's up, nerds? In an ancient Kondak, 10th Adam was bestowed with the almighty powers of the gods. After using these powers for vengeance, he was imprisoned, becoming Black Adam. Nearly 5,000 years have passed, and Black Adam has gone from the man of myth to legend. Now free, his unique form of justice, born out of rage, is challenged by modern-day heroes who from the Justice Society, Hawkman, Dr. Fate, Atom Smasher, and Cyclone. This movie is directed by Yami Colette Sarah and stars Dwayne Johnson, Aldous Hodge, Noah Centineo, Sarah Shahi, Marwan Kanazari, Contessa Swindell, Bodhi Sabbogi, and Pierce Bronson, just to name a few. I'm pretty sure that I messed those up. So if you haven't guessed, this is my Black Adam review. Now, I went and saw this movie on Friday, the opening day. Well, it opened up on Thursday, I think, later. Anyway, so I saw it on Friday. And I was going to do my review then, but I didn't. I ran out of time because I saw it and then I had to come home and go straight to work. And then I was going to do it Saturday, but I had to work on my car. And now it's Sunday as of recording this. So, but yeah. So overall, I just want to tell you that I liked it. I was entertained. I'm going to go through some cons and then some pros and everything. But overall, I did like it. You know, they weren't trying to reinvent the wheel, as some have put it. And they didn't, they didn't write an Oscar winner here. Like but there was lots to like here. There was some things to not like here, and we'll get into that. But for the most part, there was a lot to like here, or at least I did, yeah. So why don't I get started on this review? And to do that, I'm going to go over some of my cons. So some of the things I didn't like, Black Adam sometimes just feels like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. There's no Egyptian accent. It indulges in his humor. And again, I can't get past the fact that he doesn't have the pointy ears and the widow's peak. That's Black Adam to me. And I wish that they would have gone with that a little bit more, that look. But again, this just feels like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson dressed up as Black Adam, And I wish that they would have done a little bit more Black Adam and maybe a little less The Rock, Now, I just want to say also that the JSA don't feel like the JSA to me, with the exception of Dr. Fate, but we'll talk about him in my pros. But I don't feel like Aldous Hodge looks or feels like Carter Hall, okay? But he fights like Hawkman. Recently, and I'll talk about that character in just one second, everything. But recently, I read Hawkman by Robert Vanetti, and it gave great explanation of his backstory, and I thought it was great. It's probably my favorite rendition of Hawkman, and I really liked it. And I thought maybe they would go a little bit more here, but they didn't. And originally Armie Hammer was supposed to play Hawkman, but unfortunately he likes to eat people, so that's not going to work out too much. But like I said before, Aldous Hodge doesn't look or feel like Carter Hall, but his fight sequences, which I want to talk about in my pros, against Black Adam and Sabak and everything, really were just so great and everything. And in that, to him as Hawkman, it felt like he was Hawkman, and I really like that. Atom Smasher and Cyclone. Well, let's talk about Atom Smasher. Atom Smasher is just here to be dumb and some comic relief. Which was kind of like, he didn't do anything or say anything that made me laugh out loud. Like, he did some things I was like, oh, that's pretty funny, but it did make me laugh out loud. So I go, this character really wasn't all that much needed, but it was fine. Cyclone. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, I thought I would be worried about putting Cyclone in here because this is a character I had not heard about until this movie. Now, originally they were supposed to put Stargirl in here, and I know that a lot of this is based off Jeff Johns' works, which I'll talk about in just a second. But I don't know if Stargirl would have made this any better. I personally like the TV show that's going on right now, but I don't know if Stargirl would have made a better character in this, just because Cyclone had pretty much nothing to do in this this movie, and that part of the program I was like, whatever. Moving over to plus there is the JSA, the first superhero team in the comic books, and yet this feels like a wasted and a watered down version of them, because in the comic books they are, they have a huge group and everything, and in this one there's only 4 members, so it just felt like a little wasted. There was no need to have Sabak in this as the final bad guy. I mean, I get it that's what they had to do because Black Adam is supposed to be an anti-hero. And I mean, I just didn't really need for a lot, and the human characters that were in this, they weren't needed really at all. That kid was quite annoying. But it just could have easily revolved around Black Adam walking up and down Kondak and, giving out, doling out his justice while the JSA just try to stop him. I felt like that would have been a little bit of a better take. And then I also didn't care for their version of the origin story. The origin story has been changed. In this one, it was his son that was the conqueror and the protector of Kondak. And then he gave his powers to his dad to save him because he was going to die. And then he was assassinated by the king. I didn't like that. I just felt like it wasn't bad enough for a bad guy. But, for an anti-hero, I guess it was good enough. Now I want to move over to the pros, because I would like to be more positive about this movie, because I did like this movie. The fight sequences were so good. I can't tell you how much I really liked the fight sequences in this. They were epic, and I don't use that word for anything, but they were definitely not boring in this movie, and they were very much like, fight sequences on NOS, bro. Okay. I really enjoyed them a lot. I liked the fight sequences between Black Adam and Hawkman. I liked the fight sequences between Hawkman and Sabak. Yeah, and I really liked Dr. Fate, which I'm going to talk about in just a second. I really enjoyed Black Adam's moral compass in this movie. I thought that it was perfect in terms of the anti-hero. They nailed the anti-hero aspect very well. And I wish he was more comic books accurate in terms of looks and the way he's just a bad guy. Me personally, I like my bad guys bad, and I don't like them good at all. But this is a take, I believe, on, a somewhat take on Jeff Johns' run on Black Adam, which I've been reading a lot of comic books lately. Like I read Hawkman, I read Black Adam, and I ran the JSA. Those last 2 were Jeff Johns' runs on the characters, because I wanted to see exactly, because I pretty much knew that's who they were gonna do for this movie, and they pretty much did. But I just felt like Black Adam is not an anti-hero. I don't like him as an anti-hero. I want him as a bad guy. Like, my bad guy's bad. You know what I'm saying? Another pro is Pierce Bronson as Dr. Fate. Man, this guy is fantastic, and probably, if not my favorite part of the movie, definitely my second favorite part of this movie. He was just perfect casting and was the highlight of the film. There were clear inspirations during his fight sequences from Doctor Strange, and that goes from the mirror shield that he had. And then also from where he created a bunch of duplicates of himself, and those are definitely aspects from Doctor Strange that we've seen before. They also made him do his Injustice 2 outro with which was very, very cool. I thought it was cool. I don't play that game, but I have watched like gameplay, and I did watch the cutscenes and stuff. Very, very good. But yeah, Dr. Fate, if not my favorite part of the movie, definitely my second favorite movie, because I did like Black Adam. And then I did like how the movie did stick more to the comic book roots and the feeling of it and everything. And if you haven't read them, I hope that this would inspire you to pick up the comic book and read it. There are some, not stuff that isn't really that great. Also, that end credit scene with Superman Wow. So good, so fresh and so clean. I just loved it. I thought it was so great. I'm glad that they were able to get Henry Cavill in there instead of having him just like with his head cut off kind of thing, like they did in Shazam, which I want to talk about in just one second. But and Henry Cavill looks great. I like that the Superman S was bigger. I liked, it didn't make too much sense that Waller sent him. But it still was great. I can't tell you how, like, I literally was just like, yeah, and everything when he popped up. And I really did enjoy seeing Superman or Henry Cavill as Superman in this movie. And I'm happy that they got it in there. Speaking of Shazam, real quick, I should have put this in my cons, but they did not have Shazam in there or a reference to Shazam. They had the wizard in there and that was it. But they didn't have any reference to Shazam, and I thought that was bad. I thought that was a bad choice. So I just want to say that I really, no matter what you think about this movie, though, I think Dwayne Johnson for getting DC back on track in terms of the DCEU. It's clear he actually cares about the comics and these characters, unlike Warner Brothers. I mean, maybe they're starting to care, but I have a feeling they're not. And you can hate me if you want. And I did like Zack Snyder's Justice League, but I do really enjoy the colors and the color palette, a brighter color palette, and a bit of camp. Because I feel like sometimes Zack Snyder's, it was just very apathetic and a little lifeless, and a little too dark and gritty in Snyder's DCEU. So I don't know if that's something that we really should go back to, especially after that end credit scene. That end credit scene made me so happy. So in conclusion, overall Black Adam is what you'd expect based on the trailers, with some good and bad unexpected elements. Most likely you'll enjoy what it has to offer, and I do recommend watching it. So, but I do have to say, out of 10, I would give it like a 7. It wasn't the best DC movie, but it definitely wasn't the worst. That goes to Birds of Prey. So, but tell me, what did you guys think about this movie? Did you like this movie? Did you not like this movie? What was your favorite part? What was your favorite fight sequence? Who was your favorite character? Tell me what you guys think. Go ahead and leave all your comments in that section down below. If you like this video, go and hit that like button. I won't mind if you're new to my channel. Please hit that subscribe button. I'd greatly appreciate it. And I will see you guys on my next movie review. You guys have a good day. Shazam! Bye.